Yes, sir.
Yes.
No.
It's not all smooths and mirrors to make you feel better.
I would hope
All right.
Although
No,
that
really, we are
13,000 on the that.
We'll get set here a second. Get back on that one.
Thank you.
I want to come back to this one. There we go. I'm gonna show you about a 2.5 minute video, and then I've got a 3 or 4 slide PowerPoint.
Okay.
And I'll try to get all that done in 5 minutes, okay?
Cool.
Let me see if I can get this playing.
If not, I'll stop you in 5 minutes.
It's estimated by experts that in the next 40 years, our world's food demand will double. These consumers are still going to expect a high-quality protein in their diet. This generally comes from red meat derived from cattle, swine, sheep, and goats. Now, the predicament that we're in is that we're going to have to produce twice as many pounds of livestock or sellable red meat product with the same amount of land and resources. We certainly aren't generating any more land, and this is the land that we use to grow the grains that we feed our livestock in this country and around the world, as well as provides the pasture land that provides the forage for ruminants such as cattle, sheep, and goats. So what's the solution to this predicament? The solution is simply that we must improve the efficiency of our livestock production systems to meet this objective. Is live animal selection. And that's just a simple subjective evaluation of that animal's merit. And there are things that through that tool that we can analyze that sometimes a number that we can quantify, such as weaning weight, can't exactly explain. And so livestock producers combine both those genetic merit values that we come up with live animal selection to improve livestock. And ultimately, that is going to be one of our most essential sources to get the gain and improvements in efficiency in our production systems that will ultimately meet our world's food demand.
Meat judging at any level offers an individual the opportunity to participate and excel in a highly competitive activity. Learning valuable communication and life skills provides experience that will help develop traits essential for success in business and life. Through the benefits of meat judging, individuals are provided the opportunity to become familiar with numerous aspects of the livestock and meat industries.
The biggest benefit for meat judging I've probably obtained is time management.
It's just like power, you're sitting on top of the world and there's nobody that can stop you.
I've never had a adrenaline rush like I have when I judge meat.
Confidence, assertiveness.
Making decisions.
And be accurate with my decisions.
Now I can make a more informed decision as to where I want to work in the future.
Speaking and writing skills, that is definitely for anybody, no matter what kind of person you are.
It's estimated by experts that in the next 40 years, our world's food demand will double. These consumers are still going to expect a high-quality protein in their...
There we go. As you saw on the slide, we have a big task in agriculture because we have to feed the world. And about 20% of all jobs in the United States are agriculture related. And it is something of globalization. It's not just here, it's everywhere. There are increased demands, as you saw in the video, that can only be reached through proper selection, evaluation, and production of cattle, sheep, and goats, and poultry. This is where we train our future food suppliers. We teach competition, we teach team values for a competitive world. We teach students how to think critically, analyze correctly, and to make decisions. This activity with judging teams serves several purposes. One is for recruitment of students, as outlined in the request proposal, retention of students, and one of the big things that we have in the School of Agriculture is we've grown 60%, as you'll see in Molly Bauer's report. If you go down to the School of Agriculture, from 2015 to 2017, we've grown 62%. without increases in budgets. And so, when I came here this last fall, one of the things that was told to me was, you need to initiate things that will grow the School of Agriculture. Well, not only the School of Agriculture, but to grow the university. Our rodeo team, half of our students on the rodeo team are non-agriculture majors. They're majors all across campus. Half of our students on our equestrian team, out of 40 students, are non-agriculture majors. They're represented all over the campus. This too is open to all campus. Yes, I'll agree that there'll be more agriculture majors participating in this, but it's still open to everybody. I've had 12 national championships as a coach in my younger career. I'm not coaching right now, I'm the director of the School of Agriculture. Well, don't have time to do both, even though I wish I did have time. At the same time, I've had business administration majors. I've had sociology majors. I've had animal science and pre-vet and so on, ag ed and so on and so forth majors that has competed on these particular judging teams. But when I was charged with trying to come in and try to lift up an already great program and make it bigger and better and make it into a college of agriculture someday, I was asked, what programs can you bring in and initiate that would help do this? This is one of those. As we compare to other schools, at Texas A&M and Texas Tech, at Sam Houston State, at Tarleton, at West Texas A&M, at Angelo State.
Time.
Okay.
We're into questions now.
So, what percentage of students who participate on the judging team are non-agriculture majors?
What percentage we have right now on our equestrian and horse judging team, about half of those students are non-majors.
I think there's a little bit of confusion because it appears that Livestock Judging Team received funding last year. They did not because this is a brand new program.
We did receive a one-time startup of about a little over $4,900 to get started this spring, but it's not the $20,000. That was the horse and equestrian team. Okay, this is different in that it serves a different group of students within the School of Agriculture and the university. So I'm glad you brought that point out, but when you look at our horse judging team and equestrian team is one thing, our rodeo team is something else. It's all under the umbrella of agriculture. What I'm requesting is a different group to still move forward.
I was just curious what percentage of those students for the livestock and meat judging team are all those ag majors or?
What they would be, I don't know. We're going to
No, we
invite
have a
them.
team right now.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
We're just going, yes. What I've had in the past, over my experience, about 25% of those students have been non-agriculture majors. What we do is we field 4 to 5 students that actually represent the university as a team, but it's just like a football team. They have 100 on the sidelines and play 11 at a time. We will recruit in 30 or 40, hoping 20 comes, hoping, we can put 5 of them on the field. This is much like football, basketball, baseball, track. We have rodeo, equestrian, horse judging, livestock, and meat judging. So we serve a different group of students. We compete in different areas. But it's still all under the umbrella of the School of Agriculture, even though we serve more than just the School of Agriculture. Yes.
So I do have a question.
Sure.
So to clarify, the livestock and meat judging team does not yet exist.
It exists from one-time funds. It did exist here in 1983. It did exist here in 2002. It does not exist last year.
Right.
We did request one-time monies, received some this spring. We started a team. We already have 14 students that are practicing. We anticipated when we asked for that money to go on several trips this spring. By the time we got the money, and by the time we got organized, and by the time schedules came around with spring break and so forth, we did not go to any competitions. Of course, we didn't have time to practice and prepare, but at the same time, we anticipated going to some of those competitions just to view and look and show the students what was involved.
Right.
And so now, we're still practicing. We're still going on local and area, so we won't spend all that $4,900, but we'll still spend some of it.
Okay. So the second question I have is, why is each of these contests about the same amount?
Because we travel. We travel in advance to that competition. Let me give you a good example. The football team gets to go practice on their field every day. Basketball team gets to go practice in their gym every day. We don't have all the animals here at the University Farm to practice on. We don't have the carcasses. We don't have a meat lab to practice for a meat judging team. So we have to go out in advance on weekends. We practice about every weekend. We practice 1 or 2 nights a week. We go out, we may leave on a Wednesday for a Saturday contest. And so we have motels and meals that we utilize. We may drive from here to College Station and practice at Texas A&M. We may go on down to the V8 Ranch in Wharton, Texas. And then we may turn around and go to another ranch and practice. And then we end up in Houston, and we actually compete in Houston. The one thing that is unlike the athletics in this is each student has only 1 year of eligibility for a team. So if we recruit in 30 students this year and we get 20 of them here, then we recruit in a whole new set the next year. We recruit in a whole new set the next year. So we may only be working with 15 or 20 students at a given year, but over a 4-year period, like a scholarship athlete, we'll still have 60 to 80 students that we will touch. And it will be from all over the country, or specifically we're going to try to serve Northeast Texas first. That, the one thing that I see when I go out and visit with high school ag teachers, I say, hey, you got a good student here. Can I bring them? I'd sure like for them to come and be on our equestrian team. I'd sure like for them to be on our horse judging team or livestock judging team. They'll say, where's the scholarship money? Because other schools are offering those scholarships. When many junior colleges offer those scholarships, for us to be competitive, you wouldn't want to set up the football team with only half the money that they need, or a fourth the money that they need. If we're going to be competitive, we need. But at the same time, I realize we got to get started somewhere. Because as you see on the budget, that budget is listed at about $40-some thousand.
$47,000.
Yeah, I listed 55 on the proposal. I allowed for inflation. Okay. If you ask me where I may want to cut somewhere, okay, I can cut a little bit there. At the same time, we have contests that we start at Denver, Fort Worth, San Antonio, Houston. In the fall, we can go to the American Royal, the National Bear Show, and the North American in Louisville, which is the national championship. So I only listed 3 of those 7 main contests that this team could go to. So yes, we would be doing outside fundraising to go to some of the other events. If they could go, yes.
Well, in comparison with the football team, what do you think this does to help the prestige of the university, to help the reputation of the university also?
I'm going to answer that 2 or 3-fold, okay, and not try to be too long on it. I know you're tired of the last one.
Yeah.
When we bring home a national championship, it's like bringing home any national championship. As I said earlier, I've coached 12 national championships in my career, and it still brings the prestige of a national championship, just like a football team, just like a rodeo team, just like a quiz bowl team, a drama club that goes and participates anywhere. It's a national championship. It does bring prestige. And the research that I've done in the last 5 years when I was at Tarleton over the last 16 years, they funded all their judging teams through student service fees. When I was there, we had a national championship in rodeo. We had a national championship in meat judging. And I found out through my research that the #1 factor for recruiting students in agriculture to Tarleton was that we offered the academic programs that they wanted. #2 was reputation of the institution. When you bring home a national championship, there's your reputation. I think too that that research also showed, a follow-up research project, showed that on these judging contests we just had last Wednesday. I'm glad you're on. That was a lot. I look forward to them, but then I'm glad when they're over too. Those activities are vitally important to recruitment. those programs are vitally important to the learning and support and education of our current students, for retention, to involve and engage them. At the same time, we offer it to all those students. I had Golden Leos there helping us. I had Lion Ambassadors there helping us. We reached out to those groups as well this year. You know, we had plenty of diversity. We had plenty of students that goes, wow, I've never seen the cow this close up. You know, we had a lot, we did a lot of good this last week. We had over 2,000 students, probably 2240 or 50, something like that. 2,500 almost pre-registered. Students all the way from Weatherford to Texarkana and from Tyler to the Oklahoma line. All of Northeast Texas here on campus and in Sulphur Springs last week. Now, after we got them here, we identified our high individuals, our top 10, our top 20. You know, now it's time to go get those students and bring them here and not have them drive by here and go to Tarleton or down to Sam Houston or out to West Texas A&M. I got a girl from Gilmer right now I'm trying to recruit. She says she's going to West Texas A&M and she's going to do livestock judging because she's been offered a scholarship. You know, I'd much rather have her here than her going all the way out to WT.
They're also your academic scholars.
They're also your high academic students. You know, those students that excel in these competitions are the smart ones. Okay.
Dr. Hart, what's
Yes.
your situation with your alumni in terms of making branches and facilities available for judging or offering to provide endowment funding for a program like this? I mean, we have many notable alumni in some of our top brackets who are in the ag industry.
Sure.
I would think they'd be jumping at an opportunity like this to help fund it.
Here, I'll answer that in two ways.
Sure.
Number one, I've been working on that.
Mm-hmm.
Devin and I, you saw Devin and I
Right,
were
yeah,
at
I
Sulphur
talked about
Springs.
the square tree.
And we've been working on that ever since I've hit the ground here. Hit the ground running, been working on that ever since day one. We are working on that. We now have a new Roger and Jean Arnold Endowment Scholarship that we were working with the gentleman there from City National Bank in Sulphur Springs. And we now have that endowed. We have it over 10,000. We're now trying to get it from 10 to 25,000. Part of that is that scholarship will go to an ag ed student, a student working on the farm, or a student participating on a judging team. So, yes, we're working on those very things. At the same time, we have some alumni, just honestly speaking, that say, and they're from Texas, they're not from Missouri. They say, show me. You know, show me what you can do, show me what you have, and then I'll start funding you. Then I'll start giving and donating. We have had a climate here at this institution for the last 35, 40 years where we haven't done this. And so they don't have that climate to say, okay, yes, you continue to do it. Yeah, at the Kansas States, at the Oklahoma States, I'm an Oklahoma State alumni. I just went to the alumni gala and reunion 2 weekends ago. And yeah, they raised over $40,000 in one weekend.
Okay, we're out of time.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we're out of time.
Sure.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mark. Appreciate it.